Evil 3 Remake. And I've never played the remake. I actually never even played the original game. I never played Resident Evil Nemesis. I think it was just called Resident Evil Nemesis at the time, but it was the third Resident Evil. A lot of people called it Resident Evil 3. Colloquially. But so yeah, this is gonna be a first time playthrough since I finished The Last of Us Part 1. I'm sure that there'd probably be more to say about The Last of Us Part 2 and all that stuff that's been going on with it. But I think that everything that needed to be said has been said. And I've made my points.
And everything that needed to be said has been said.
Sorry, that was just me. I gotta like go into this video, my streams on my tablet so that I can look at the chat because I can't see it normally. So this is Resident Evil 3 Remake. I picked it up because I really liked the Resident Evil 2 Remake. It was just really, really good. And I hear that the Resident Evil 3 Remake is a letdown, which is a shame. But I'm going to check it out anyways. I mean, I may as well. I have it. I can't return it because I bought it digital only. This is the thing about, I was going to say about the problem with digital only purchases. I have a feeling that, and I know that this is already the case, although there are some exceptions, returning games, if they're digital only, or movies, or basically like most of this kind of media, you know, music, if you buy it digital only and you don't have like a physical copy, returning it is, I think, is basically a dead practice. Like, people aren't going to be able to do that anymore. I'm using headphones. Adjust until the pattern is barely visible, so we'll do it like that. Picture on the left disappears. There we go. Yeah, so data processing, yeah, sure, whatever. Now sending play data to RENet. Shaman King, what's up? Says, did you watch Girlfriend Reviews go over The Last of Us 2? It's almost like she's describing a game that we didn't get. Yeah, Girlfriend Reviews is pretty milquetoast, if not like probably a bit feminist. I remember I thought those videos were really great and funny, and then I think she did one. It wasn't that one, but it was one of the more recent ones where she said something about gender stereotypes or over-sexualized characters or something, and I was like, uh-oh. And then I stopped watching. These people, man, they have like no way of like thinking for themselves. Control settings, camera, display, audio, language. Alright. I think we're good. HDR mode, what's that? HDR support. I don't know what that is. HDR. Language, English subtitles. Okay, we'll just leave it. Standard. I don't know how hard the hardcore is. So yeah, my understanding is that Resident Evil 3 is pretty short. So I probably won't be doing this for too long. I'm guessing that maybe 3 or 4 sessions
pandemic has spread faster than any disease in modern history.
Don't get an anchor with a lisp. Is this Minneapolis? Dude. No, of course it's run by a Democrat, a black Democrat mayor.
These are the core values that create the foundation for Umbrella. It's this.
If only we were so lucky as to have to deal with an Umbrella Corporation zombie outbreak. Nemesis seems a little overhyped. Jill looks hungover. Maybe she had a couple of dudes over and became a Jill sandwich. Original colors. Why would she have posters like this? Stone Age girl. I'm looking around. Look at your comments. Shaman King, everything girlfriend reviews said the game did, the critical drinker said that it tried and failed at doing. I'm more inclined to believe the drinker from what I've seen. Zarank, chatting without liking the video is verboten. Shaman King, for this remake they actually cut out a lot of the game. It just didn't seem like worth the price tag to me. Yeah, I didn't know that they had done that. It seems really stupid that they would. It's a really bad decision in my view. You know. I wasn't sure if she was going to climb out that window or if she was going to close the window, so I was afraid to click it and start like a cinematic. Yeah, Richard is one of our main patrons. He said that the critical drinker liked the story of The Last of Us and was really like easy on it. Why did Jill is such a slob? Why'd she leave all that shit on? And then like her gun, she just left it there. Yeah, I don't know if you saw it, but we were doing a stream of The Last of Us Part 2 yesterday on the Badger Livestream channel, and I think Richard said that the Critical Drinker actually enjoyed the game story, or he didn't have as many complaints or whatever. So, I don't know. Let me see. Xeranx, good morning. The sheeting action on the window is nice. Yeah, he liked what they were trying to do, just not the way they did it. The mods for this game range from wholesome to hilarious. He does point to some of the contrivances. Hey, great indoors. I'm at the point right now, I'm telling you, I'm with like people like Anthony Bryan Logan on this stuff. I can't give these people an inch. Not an inch. And it's not just because it's like more effective to do that, but rather it's not just because it's more effective to do that, but rather because like there are people who are bad actors that in principle they just want to exploit any little thing they can to like push their politics, and it's not really about the truth, even if it starts from a place of truth, right? So no, I think that The Last of Us Part 2 is completely irredeemable as a piece of media. It's a piece of shit, but, and this is the important thing, because I think when people hear me demonize it, they like think, it's kind of like when people were criticizing, like when the Christians were criticizing Dungeons and Dragons and Pokemon. You can have whatever ideas you want about a piece of media or a product, okay? The problem isn't that your ideas exist. The problem is whether or not you're going to censor them. I'm not going to censor Neil Druckmann. I'm not going to tell him that, The Last of Us 2 shouldn't exist. I'm not going to censor Kathleen Kennedy. I mean, obviously I couldn't, but even if I could, I wouldn't do it. And that's why when people say, oh yeah, they're going to retcon Star Wars, I just say, I don't care. The damage is done. I don't care. I'm not going to support it, period. That's not censorship. That's me basically speaking with my dollars. And I think that's what everybody should do. And I think that you could make the argument that, I see what they were trying to do, and I think that it was probably, like, just a matter of execution. It's like, no, it's like, the thing is it's just not good. It's okay to just say it's not good. Why are you giving them even like a modicum of ground? Why? It's just shit. Just say it's shit and move on. That's all. It doesn't, it's, you know what? It's not a condemnation of anyone who buys their products. Like, I don't give a shit. Do what you want to do. It's your money. But, I don't have to, like, even pretend like I like it. I don't have to do that. What day is it? It's the 28th of September. You know what I mean? I guess that's the thing about the Critical Drinker is being... I think that he's a bit hopelessly naive. Ooh, time to pop some Molly. I think he's a bit hopelessly naive regarding, his desire to give the benefit of the doubt. Where basically he's like, oh, I don't think that these people wanted to make a bad product. And I think that it's actually quite possible, and this is true of all these guys that are like fandom menace, content creators like Mauler and Geeks and Gamers and Nerdrotic.com and Doomcock and The Critical Drinker. Like these guys that basically, in a way, they just got involved in the culture war, right? It affected a fandom that they liked, like whether they were Doctor Who fans or they were into the MCU or they were into comics or they were into Star Wars or whatever, right? And they got sucked in, and now they're like, oh, well, this is bad, and I'm going to point out the feminist excesses or the woke excesses in this. But Once again, Jill left the fucking water running. What the fuck, Jill? What the fuck is this place? You see, when you guys hear that men are the slobs and women aren't, it's a lie. Like, look at this fucking room. And this is not atypical, although I think it's weird that Jill owns a toy police car, but whatever. Women can be huge slobs. They absolutely can. I lived in an apartment, and let me see, can I open this door? No. I lived in an apartment when I first got my own place, and I was in this larger building, and the guy who was the superintendent / landlord, although he wasn't the building owner, he was just like living there, but he was operating as a landlord and a superintendent. He only allowed either nerdy dudes that were into the same like video games and kind of the geeky shit that he was into, or really, really, really hot chicks to live there. Like, that's literally what he selected for. He wanted really hot women, or he wanted like really hot women, or like nerdy dudes. So, and I'll tell you what, I helped those women, because they're like hot women would move out and move in. They were usually like strippers and shit like that. I would help them to I'm just gonna see what's in the fridge. I'd help them move in and out, maybe move furniture around or whatever, and they were all slobs. They were slobs. Even when they were moving out, they wouldn't be ready to go. It was fucking crazy. Wait, I'm just looking to see what's in the fridge, goddammit. Alright, let me pause it for a second. Look at what you guys are saying. I'm going to get back to what I was saying about the drinker and everything in just a second. Okay, Brian, last time you asked the non-Americans in the chat room why they wouldn't try to change their own countries. Well, let me answer it with a counter question. Why do you want to leave Chicago instead of trying to reason with local Lightfoot Brigade? Well, that's again, what I said wasn't a boast, but I think that's a good question. I've stayed in Chicago for 46 years, and the people in now, of course, I didn't really start changing my politics until probably the last 6 years. Because I know it was like during the Obama years that I became disenfranchised with the left. And I think that you have a good point, but I also think that I'm just one man. I think that it's difficult to get people to think about liberty as an important goal. And I know that most people would rather not, and especially in countries, and the U.S. is one of these countries, so I'm not excluding it, where we have centered the way that we build our governments, the way that we operate our governments on the needs of, or desires of, women. And I think that that's a part of the problem. So I'm leaving because I'm getting too old to keep fighting, and at least in my part, and I'm just tired, and I want to protect my family because things have gotten downright absolutely insane. So I'm basically moving to protect them and myself from potential violence that's been spreading in Chicago. But if I could, and I thought I had the time and I thought I had the means, I would try to change things here, yes. I probably if I was younger when I figured this out, I'd probably, speak about it, maybe get involved in politics, maybe try to be a voice for people or something, but I don't think that I can do that with being as poor as I am, and also with things the way they are. It's just a bit beyond the pale. See, my wife messaged me. Lindsay sees that I'm streaming video games. All right. But I think that's a good point, though. Great Endor says, could it be that you reckon that your chances of trying to convince a substantial amount of people in your immediate surroundings is pretty small? Yeah. Shaman King, why waste energy getting upset that other people like things that you don't? Well, yeah, I'm not upset by it. It's an apartment, Brian. She doesn't pay the water bill. No, but... Well, some apartments you do, but like, yeah, actually, I don't think really. But it's more about the state of everything else. I mean, she just like has pizza boxes open, and I don't know. It seems like it's a cop trope that cops are just like that. But she's not a cop. She stars. Morning Paladin. Funny how getting people to think about liberty as an important goal is hard, while those same people talk about being grown or free. No, well, you know, I was thinking about this and I learned this: freedom and liberty are not the same. In that, like, freedom is like where people say, well, they want to be free to be able to do things. Is there a run button? Nope. Not yet. I haven't learned how to run yet, so I'm just gonna.
Hello?
Jill, are you okay?
Brad, is that you?
Listen, you gotta get out of there.
What are you talking about?
I don't have time to explain. You gotta get out of there right now.
Alright, let me grab my...
Lock the door, Jill. That'll do it.
What the hell is that thing?
Isn't that somebody else's place? Ooh, was that like a... She just used the bookshelf to block the door. Resident Evil 4 remake confirmed. I guess I'll go in here where this yellow tape is at. I'm just running. Jesus Christ. Have I taken any actual damage yet? Still a better game than The Last of Us Part 2. Damn. Run, Jill, run! Run, bitch! Seems to me that was probably Jill at her most vulnerable, and the nemesis couldn't catch her. Get out of town. Yeah, that was my plan.
Over here.
He's gonna die.
You okay?
What was that thing?
Can't define that. But right now it's got a hard on for the only 2 stars left in town. You and me. I'm not sticking around. Just look around.
This guy's like the Bill Paxton of Stars members. I'm not sticking around, man.
This all happened so fast.
I don't know. One fucked up thing always leads to another. It's like our play on steroids. Hey! Hey, wait! Down here!
Alright, let's go in here then.
Don't think about it. We're gonna make a run for it.
Brad, you got bit. It's over, bro.
I don't.
Are we still a team?
Always.
Then do me a favor. Don't fuck up like I did. Go!
Alright. R.I.P. Brad. The Bill Paxton of Stars team members. Why doesn't Brad get a game? Where you can play as Brad? Why doesn't Barry? Does Barry get a game? Is there a point where you can play as Barry Burton? Uh-oh. Time to go. Where am I supposed to go?
Parking garage. Sir, are you alright?
Stay back! Don't come any closer!
Hey, come on. There's a helicopter waiting to take you to safety.
What safety? I'm not going out there!
The parking garage isn't far.
The only safe place is in here!
Get out of my trailer! Alright, let me see your comments really quick. Oh yeah! The libertarian position is a minority position, absolutely. Its weak point is that it doesn't provide easy answers. The problem with the libertarian position, and there's a reason why the Libertarian Party, any Libertarian Party, because like, so before we get on like why the official Libertarian Party of the United States is a fucking goof troop, which I'm not trying to talk about the Libertarian Party of the US, but any country that wants to build a Libertarian Party with a libertarian framework, while that would be an optimal way to operate, it won't work because you are basically going to ask women to give up their free shit, to give up Gibbs, and to essentially take risk because women want the government to take care of people because that's how they operate, right? And it is about women here. Now, at this point, it's even harder because it's not only about women, but it's also about men raised by women that have carried those same values forward. So we're basically operating under generations of people raised with a feminine value system of, you know, people should support each other, and that comes down to the state should support people. And so you can't have a libertarian world unless you tear those things down, or or move people away from them. And the way to do that, and I think this is what people like Stefan Molyneux, rest in peace, from YouTube, was trying to change, because he knew, I think, although he didn't call it by name, he knew that only people that had, families with fathers in the home that practice peaceful parenting had the best chance of essentially like creating a libertarian, if not right up, anarchist free society. Now, I think that unless you start saying, well, what we need to do is essentially increase women's trust So we have to increase women's trust in men as a group to provide for them, to protect them, to give them what they're asking the government for right now in order to substitute that, okay? And they have to put basically all of their trust in men. But feminists have created a rift between men and women that is so massive at this point that it's extremely difficult to close that trust gap. And of course, by doing that, you create women that belittle men, that treat them poorly, that treat them disposably, even more so than men have historically been treated, which, by the way, I think to some degree most men are okay with being seen as disposable. I think that most men are, as long as they think that their sacrifice is going to be appreciated, right? Like if it's going to be unrewarded, or if it's going to be seen as even like a net negative, like they're oppressors, well, they're not going to do it. They're not going to seem appreciated. This is why the MGTOW movement has grown so much, and men are not getting married at higher rates and all that. But optimally, they would like to be in a position where if they felt that it was time for them to make some kind of sacrifice, and when I say sacrifice, I don't necessarily mean bodily harm or death, but just like a sacrifice of their time, a sacrifice of their resources, a sacrifice, of another type. Okay, they are willing to do it. This is how we've built the society to the point where it is now, provided that their sacrifice is appreciated. This is what the hero's journey is about. This is why you have stories of the knight that slays the dragon and rescues the virgin, right? This is like it's symbolic of that. It's symbolic of, if I do these things, if I engage in this much risk for the betterment of my community, then people will see me as a hero, and I will reap the rewards of that, which is essentially the survival of my genetic material. And so a libertarian society would serve that, because while we would still like pretty much live in a relatively safe and civilized world, when there are troubles, when there are struggles, instead of going to the state for help, we would simply go to the people in our immediate family, to our communities. You know, we'd probably do those things first. So right now, when someone is running into financial problems, we just say, go to the state, and they do. And the state gives them just enough to survive, and it does so based on all these parameters. And of course, they're taking taxpayer money, and all the red tape involved means that a lot of that money doesn't actually get to the person it needs to, because there's all these bureaucrats that are on that path from when the tax money's taken from you and when the person who you're hoping will get it. And so a lot of the money ends up getting diluted in all these people that are basically middlemen. But in let's say a small government or libertarian society, the people themselves would get together and try to help this person. But more importantly, they wouldn't just help them by giving them money, they would help them by giving them purpose. Because nobody really wants to take care of someone for the rest of their life unless, you know, they're in a position where that's all they can do, like they're old or whatever, disabled. But what they try to do is help them by helping them essentially like have some like a job, essentially, like, you know, giving them a job or a purpose or something, and basically a means by which they can take care of themselves. And I think that you're way more likely to get that from a free society than a state society, because the state only has the interest in essentially taking your money, and also taking your money while also expecting you to thank them for it, and just making sure that they remain in power. Anyway, let me see what you guys are saying. He knows exactly where she is, but can't punch her in the head. Yeah, he seems to. You'll note that Nemesis is extremely good at killing everything except Jill. Yeah. Resident Evil 2 did more driving home of suspense, watching out of context vids of Mr. X chasing you did more to convey suspense than Nemesis. Meanwhile, at the Libertarian Party, fat guy dances on stage in thong receiving dollar bills. Yeah, it's fucking weird. I think that there's too much focus on, like, look at what you be free to do and dude weed LMAO. And it's like, yeah, the drug war should be ended. In my mind, I think all drugs should be legal, and but not state controlled, because there's a difference. I think the state wants to control, like, marijuana, for example. They're legalizing it, but they're also, like, you know, really involved in its distribution, and I don't think that that's a good thing. But it's the drug thing is so small compared to, like, the larger principles. So, but yeah, I do think the drug war ending would be a really good thing for everybody. Libertarian Party had the planets align in their favor in 2016, and they couldn't get their act together long enough to do anything. Yeah, because the party's a joke. Is it harder to have women be more capable, or easier to have women more trusting of men? Well, I mean, they can be. It's not a zero-sum game. Like, they can do both. But I think that we've allowed, we've given women the freedom to do whatever they wanted with their life, whether they want to get married and have a career, or if they want to go into the workforce or open their own companies. Not that they didn't have that, by the way, but we've made it like a vocal thing for what, like 70 years, and we've gotten what, nothing but more welfare state. So I think that women have proven that they're not really going to step up, and I think that we have to look at, we may have to try to close the trust gap, because at the end of the day, women do want men. And that's shown by all these, like, you know, bad power broker bitches that, you know, they work in a career and then they hit their 30s and they're like, oh, time to get a man and settle down. So it's like they always buckle to that, and most of the time, and they end up, like, wanting kids and all that. So I think that it might be time to just try to close the trust gap and ask women to, like, you know, stop being so fierce, because you're not getting anywhere. Brian, have you seen the Russian mini movie The Last Man on Earth? No, I have not. Oh, I've heard about it though. Zerinx, Brian, have you heard of Weinstein's Unity 2020? He mentioned it when talking to Tucker. Basically, it's a return to the both parties occupying the Prez and VP position and alternating. I don't like the Weinstein's proposals. I'm sorry, but the Democrats are they're just pieces of shit. Like, that party needs to collapse. It really is. They have gone off the deep end, really far left. They're unforgivable. They gotta go. Now, people will say, and I've heard this, I'm gonna put my controller down for a second, make a statement about this, because I think that the Democrats have to cease to exist. Like, they have to go as a party. It has to go. It has to go. And they have to collapse under their own stupidity. And they have to go. Now, people have said to me when I've said that, oh, well, will you want like a one-party state? No. That's not how things are going to work out. Okay? The Democrats have to go because the nation has to say, we don't go this far left. That's way too far left. We're not going that far left. Fuck that, okay? And then what will happen is, because if you have only one party, if all there is the Republicans, all right? What's going to happen with the Republican Party is it will splinter into smaller parties within that party. And people that used to be part of the far left Democrat Party will either join the Green Party or they'll form another party. Because obviously the people involved that are in the Democrats, they're not going to disappear, but the party has to go. Like, as a framework that people vote under, it has to go. So what will happen is, I think that, like, within the Republican Party, there already are some divisions. There are people like Ted Cruz, which are constitutionalists. There are people like Mitt Romney, who are basically like corporate crony, you know, neocons. You know, there are war hawks. Like, you have subdivisions already, and they'll probably divide along those lines because a lot of the people in the Republican Party don't agree with each other on various issues. You have your Dan Crenshaws, who are more moderates, you know, and he'll probably form a party, and for all we know, Tulsi Gabbard would be in that party because there's overlap in their policies and belief systems and values, right? Instead, the way things are now is you have the Democrats, which are basically like all identity politics, all feminism, all Black Lives Matter, all things like, you know, late-term abortion, gun control, defund the police, like all these like radical positions, Green New Deal, redistribute all the wealth, you know, fucking open borders and all this other shit, right? So those issues are not even worth there's no middle ground for most of them. There's no middle ground, there's no compromising. These are ridiculous things and they should be called that. That's why the Democrats need to just die as a party. And instead, what you'll get is you'll have a set of more moderate and more reasonable to discuss sets of values you can talk about, and some of the ones that are really bad but that are on the right, like for example, there are Republicans that want open borders because they want cheap labor, or if they don't want open borders, they want it to be really easy for people to emigrate here that are extremely poor and unskilled so that they can give them next to nothing to work in their sweatshops, okay? And that should be exposed for what it is. And so, which is bullshit, right? And then there are people who are against, you know, like they're for the drug war, or they're tough on crime in that, you know, they just want to arrest more people and maybe unjustly so, right? And then there are people who are in the right that are, or in the Republican Party, that are war hawks and they want to, you know, be the world police. Like all that shit will become its own set of things, and then people will be able to see it, and I think it'll be more clear, okay, that's a good policy, that's a bad policy, you know, and we can like get back on that. And there are people in the Republican Party that also play identity politics too, right? So I mean, they're not as good at it, but there are people who are like, you know, I think Sarah Palin, for example, played the woman card a few times. I mean, not to the degree that Hillary Clinton did, but, you know, it was there. So, like, I think that it has to go for that reason. I think that we actually have a better chance of having more than a two-party system if one of those parties that are currently in existence collapses, and that one has to be the Democratic Party, because they're basically the Communist Party at this point, and that cannot be allowed. And I say that also, by the way, having talked to... I spoke to Philip Davies. He's the MP, an MP in the UK. And I spoke to Philip Davies. I had a good conversation with him and Carl Benjamin Sargon at the ICMI 2019. Unfortunately, it was just like an off-the-cuff thing. I randomly ran into them. They were just sitting at a table chatting. And I didn't have like my microphone set up or anything because it could have been a pretty good video. But we talked about the differences between UK and the US politics, right? Like the way in which our political parties are structured, which essentially reflects the populace's you know, political views, right? And I've also had many conversations with my wife, obviously, about Canada's politics versus the United States politics. And one of the things that I learned from both is that the United States, as its politics, is way further to the right in general than the UK, which Philip Davies is like, you guys are really far to the right compared to us. Like, you're way out there. And it's great because Philip Davies understands the difference between being to the right and being conservative. Now, I know that the right-wing party in the UK, which is called the Tory party, is also called the Conservative Party, but it's not, like, conservative values are more socio and cultural. Right-wing values are more towards like small government, libertarianism, free markets, you know, that kind of thing. And he says that the United States is far more right wing in general. Like he says, even the Democrats are more right wing than they are in the UK. And Lindsay said similar things about the Canadian government, where Canada is far more to the left in general than the United States is. But I think that we can go further. So I think that we should. So that's what I think. I believe that the Democrat Party has lost the plot. They're completely insane. It's beyond saving. Let it die. And we have to push back against that. Now, if there's one group of people that's going to make the Democrats powerful, it's going to be women. And we have to, hope that they'll grow a fucking brain and realize that what's happening isn't going to benefit them, and that the community chest is way past empty at this point. But they're not going to know that because they're too busy empowering themselves and learning about black people and brown people and shit. And that's kind of what I'm talking about. But anyway, let me get to the parking lot. When did Jill get the shoulder harness and the elbow pad? I don't remember that. All right. Let me guess. Nemesis with a rocket launcher.
Sorry. Start, damn it! It's my turn, bitch!
Oh, come on, Jill. You weren't even wearing your seatbelt. Bullshit. This is so over the top. I mean, it's still a better game than Last of Us Part 2. Can I just point my gun at him? Wasn't that guy in? Isn't he in Tekken, in the Tekken games?
Who are you? What do you do?
It's Carlos. I'm safe. Come on. Let's get you someplace safe.
I gotta tell you, I actually always liked Mr. X more than the Nemesis. I thought the way that they brought him in the, or even in the old Resident Evil 2 was great.
We've been bringing survivors here.
Here, where?
My guys have converted some subway cars into a shelter. It's safe.
I'm fine.
Personal space. Okay, I get it. Let's go.
All right, hold on. I'm gonna now that I think I'm actually playing the game now. I'm going to grab another coffee. Let me just look at your comments really quick first, though, because I was ranting a bit. Hey, Ken. I can't see that working without government being smaller if the concern is corruption. Yeah, well, that's why the Weinstein thing is ridiculous, because the Democrats only want bigger government and women want bigger government. So how can you possibly have a structure where, like, Weinstein is a moron if he thinks, oh yeah, if everybody just got their turn and we just balanced it out, it'd be great. It's like, no, there are things the Democrat Party are for that are in there. They are not compromisable. There is no way. What are you going to do? Like half open borders? Like, that's fucking retarded. Don't be a retard, please. Societal improvements will be achieved along technological means, not political. Yeah. Which requires cooperation. And it requires trust. Like a high trust society will do a lot better. And the only way you're going to build that up is you have to increase the trust between men and women. Because when you increase the trust between men and women, you'll increase the trust between men and women, and communities. That's the gap, man. It's the one thing that no one wants to talk about because it means criticizing women. I say research, but it's really just coming across random items. Education, for one, being said to be Mary Wollstonecraft's concern and reason for feminism was always a class issue. Yeah, education isn't going to be fixed until, again, we fix the problem between men and women. Because the education system, as it stands, which is essentially indoctrination, it wouldn't work if you had a strong family, because the strong family would be involved in how their child is being educated, and they would demand different types of education, or they just won't send them to school, and they'll just educate them themselves. Tampon the vote. The higher income all come in after tech advances. Agreed, Brian. Democrat Party is defunct. I don't mind work visas, but those are different from just allowing open borders. In my opinion, as a Canadian, I'd say both the two main Americans need to end. Two main Americans? I'm not sure what that means. More political parties are not going to bring societal progression. No. But if one must go down, yes, Democrats would be preferable. Two American parties, okay. Well, I think that it won't happen like that, though. I think that what should happen is the Democrat Party should collapse, and then the Republican Party and whoever was left in the Democrat Party, as well as the Libertarian Party and the Green Party, should essentially like reorganize or restructure the party system. Once the Democrats are gone, no one is going to want, that's left over, a single party system. So they're going to split up. And by the way, if you think about it, if for whatever reason, let's say there was just a Republican Party, okay, there are going to be establishment Republicans, and then there will be dissident Republicans within the Republican Party. And they will be competing against each other for positions of political influence, okay? And so what they'll have to go to use essentially to run on, we'll have to get away from things like identity politics. They'll have to go towards things like economic freedom, like free markets, like just policy. We can just talk about policy again and not talk about black or white or racism or whatever. Because if the Democrats collapse, then people that are left over will realize, or at least they'll suspect, that identity politics doesn't work. So maybe we can get back to talking about what matters. And that's why I think that it will end up just splintering into several a few, if not several, smaller parties, which might be better, or different kinds of parties, because like essentially the whole thing will shift away from collectivism and big government and socialism and into, basically like different flavors of liberty, essentially. There'll be some people that aren't for that, but that will finally be able to shine a light on it, because right now, if I was trying to talk to my mother or my friends about the ways in which there are people within the Republican Party that have different values, and some of them, they are for, work visas and essentially like immigration that's legal immigration that will inevitably result in the disappearing of the black vote, because that's ultimately what's going on right now. And I've seen people say this, that black people used to be one of the most sought after votes, like right after women, in the country by politicians. But black people are quickly becoming less and less important to Democrats because their demographics are shrinking in exchange for Hispanic Americans and Hispanic immigrants that are coming in from Mexico and South America. And so when enough of them come in, guess what's going to happen? Black people are just not going to be important to Democrats anymore. They're not, and that's coming in like 10 years time. When you look at the rates at which black women, first off, the black family is decimated. Black women are getting abortions at crazy high rates because they just want to do whatever the fuck they want. Because again, we haven't held women accountable, right? And blacks are killing each other at extremely high rates. So they're actually reducing their own population in a lot of ways. Meanwhile, Latinos are they're not much better, but they reproduce faster because we like to fuck, and they're also immigrating here one way or the other. And so it's only going to be within maybe the next 10 years that you'll see politicians no longer pandering to black people, and they're only going to be pandering to Latinos because the black vote's not going to matter anymore. And the fact is, most of that came from the left because that was their baby. But once they have enough immigrants and those immigrants vote left, then it's over. So this is why there is real concern about not just illegal immigration, but legal immigration, because the purpose of it is to alter demographics so that the Democrats remain in power forever. And basically, if they get enough demographic shift happening, it doesn't matter if it's legal or not, then they're going to get that. And establishment Republicans that own large corporations or invested in large corporations that use really cheap labor, they will also benefit because all these immigrants are going to be in here untrained. They vote for the left, they vote for the welfare state, but the ones that do work, some of them work and get the welfare state, they will have jobs, and they will take them from native-born Americans, like native-born whites, blacks, and Latinos. So it's one of those things that needs to have a light shined on it, but people are so concerned with Democrat left-wing identity politics right now, they can't see that there's another side to this as well. But Tucker sees it. He's talked about it a lot. Okay, so coffee hasn't gotten to my brain yet. Carl and who? I missed the other name. Philip Davies. The two main parties force people to the middle. That's why I prefer it. I don't know about that. I don't think the parties alter people's politics. I think the people have predilections and the parties appeal to them or they don't. Women have wanted Gibbs since before there were Gibbs, for example. So in a democracy, slowly everything will evolve to more governmental power. Yeah, in a democracy, yes. Shoulder harness and elbow pads brought to you by Game Magic. Plot armor, yeah, absolutely. Democracy is a political fight. It's like a political fight. Me fife, maybe? I don't know. Dude, muzzle discipline. He's waving the gun around like a lollipop. I wonder if the U.S. will have a plethora of tiny parties in, like Italy in the future after the end of the two main parties. Well, yeah, essentially what I'm getting at is the death of the Democratic Party, which has to happen, will actually result in the death of the Republican Party as it currently exists. Because, again, the people in the Republican Party they compete against each other already, and they do so in various ways. So, and you know what? I'm okay with that. That I think that has to happen, you know. So, black demographics haven't been shrinking. Hispanic demographics were growing, 17% over 13%. Aren't a lot of Hispanic Americans socially quite conservative? Socially, yes, but Gibbs is Gibbs, dude. Okay, so, and you know what? They've been going after the Hispanic family as well, and they're not doing much better in terms of, like, the welfare state and the destruction of the family. But Latinos do have they tend to be more religious, so they tend to value family, and they do tend to have family, and pretty big families. Just like blacks. I mean, like, when blacks do the family thing well, they have big-ass families, man, lots of cousins. But I think that ultimately it won't matter because people will vote for Gibbs, and that ultimately it also doesn't matter because you're either going to have a very conservative Latino family that still tends to vote left because there could be something genetic about it. I'm not sure, because a lot of South American countries and Mexico and stuff, they tend to vote left there, but it doesn't matter because either the corporate Republicans get their way because they get their free labor, or the left-wing Democrats get their way because they get to continue to expand the welfare state and stay in political power. And I think that ultimately it will probably go that way, where the Democrats run everything, but the Republicans don't care because they benefit. So anyway, I'm going to go get my coffee. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Oh, let's see. A fike net, I mean a one-way street. Okay, I'm gonna continue the game now.
Oh, come on. Who's the dipshit that closed this? Sorry, we're gonna have to go around.
Hey, what do you know about that monster?
Nothing. Never seen anything like it. But it's no zombie. It knows what it wants and won't stop till it gets it. Would you like that in a man?
No thanks. He's all yours.
Listen, I promise you advance. I'm with the Umbrella Biohazard Countermeasure Service. BCS for sure.
Are you kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? You guys are the ones who caused all of this.
Whoa, 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 whoa. What are you talking about? We're just here to help you. What's wrong with Umbrella?
What's wrong with Umbrella? Your company is responsible for infecting everyone.
Yeah. I don't know anything about all that. You don't have to trust me, but I'm going to the shelter. You come in? Come on. It's this way.
Party, party, party. Traditional Japanese restaurant. That's overly sexualized. Will robots surpass humanity? Science Forum. Is that Orson Welles and Albert Einstein? Jim's Crabs. Try our special lobster menu. Only available September 1st, October 31st. Skull Stalker. Adrift in space. Is that a... That's just a Terminator. Skull Stalker on the Red Planet. How can you have like two movies in a franchise out at the same time? Damn, I want to live in this reality. Hell Squid Zero? Tyrant of the Deep. They weren't extinct, only sleeping. Freak Cinema. Astro Crunch for cadets of all ages. Blast off every morning, space kids. That sounds like they're offering drugs. Oh, wow. Are they even trying? Featuring several... Big E, oh, it's a band. Must-read comic books for every type of fan. Fighting story. Piracy Under the Waves. Horror classics. Untold Tales. Mega Man. I feel like I've heard of that guy. Living Corpses. I'll Never Give In. The Great Gladiator versus the Executioner. I like when people do like made up movie posters and stuff.
Captain, let's find when we could use our help.
Carlos, you didn't even think to ask my young lady her name. She is an elite operative of RPD, Special Tactics and Rescue Service. Her name is something Valentine.
It's Jill.
Nice to meet you, Jill. I am UBCS platoon leader Mikhail Victor. My team was sent here to
Mikhail
rescue
Victor. Low effort name. We need something East European. How about Mikhail Victor Vlad
Nice.
Romani?
100,000 civilians who are not dead. Correction, undead. My platoon has suffered serious losses. Just keeping them alive is more than I can manage.
Well, you can thank your corporate overlords for that.
Yes. Well, we are doing all we can. If we can get this subway train moving, we can evacuate some survivors. But we need help. My men cannot do this alone.
Right? I'm in. But I want your side. Not yours.
Hey, it's cool. I want the same thing.
Carlos is... He's way too chill.
Here you go. You can use this to stay in contact.
I know what a radio is.
What was the... That was needless sass.
We need to get you geared up. Head up to street level. You'll find supplies there.
That was like unnecessary sass from Jill there. I know what a radio is, okay? Would you please stop hitting on me?
They really took a chunk out of you.
Nothing that I can miss.
Give me my vodka so that I may dull the pain. Can I look at a map? Oh shit, I can. Map screen is useful for more than just your current locations. It can also show you any points of interest and items that you have found but have not picked up. Okay, so there's a train car. I could go back too, I guess. Maybe I should. Oh. Ammo crafting guide. Get these basic formulas right. Gunpowder, high-grade gunpowder, high-grade gunpowder. Wow, those are really complicated. Let's go this way. I'm just gonna look over here. Can I go this way? No. After I'm done with this, which probably won't take that long. Oh, I can't go back. Maybe I'll start. I was streaming. Well, I'm sorry, I wasn't streaming it, but I started playing the Shadow of the Colossus remake. So I don't know if that'd be something you guys would be interested in, but I could do that. Or I could continue where I left off on Resident Evil 7, which last time I played it, I streamed it too. That was a while ago. Yeah, this like moves around a lot. It's gonna be a bit hard to aim. You know what? No, you know what? I'll just deal with it for now. Tabloid front page. Cannibal murders. Frantic caller telephoned the RPD to report an assault. A man described as disheveled, like a vagrant, was attacking a passerby north of the Lambs Museum of Art. The responding officers discovered the mutilated corpse of a woman by some dumpsters nearby. Dozens of bite marks covered her body. She had been dismembered, suggesting she had been eaten. The third known incident of this kind to occur in Raccoon City this month. So who done it? Who's been munching on man steak? We here at News Comet have a gnawing feeling that so-called cannibal disease patients Spencer Memorial has been providing spree treatment for since August might not be setting for just the cafeteria mood. What? Our reporters have infiltrated Spencer Memorial, asked the tough questions. Alright, turn the page for the scoop. Okay. You don't care what I play, you just like my musings? Well, I appreciate that.
So what's the plan?
The old tanks got me clearing the tracks. You might get the subway infrastructure back online.
And how do I do that?
Let's start by restoring power. I'll navigate you to the substation once you hit the main road.
Copy that. Let's do this fast.
Got me some gunpowder. Somebody just left gunpowder and herbs up there. Can I open this? Yes, I can. Wait, is that a storage box? No. All right. Oh no! Damn it, I fucked up. Ah, that's okay, whatever. I should have broken that first. Okay, whatever. More streams, please. Well, thank you, Xeranx. You know what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the red herb in here for now. Can I combine it with this? No, I can't. Okay, I'm gonna put it in there. What? Oh, I see. It's locked. Okay, I gotta come back to that. Yeah, I know. High potency mixture, green or red herb, or green herb times 3. Okay. Typewriter? Oh, shit. Sorry about your ears. Ah, yes. Resident Evil puzzles.
It almost looks like I could get this working if I plug in the right. There it is.
Clock Tower commemoration. There's the box. Okay, I'm gonna put the red herb in there. I'll come get it later. I'm one of those guys that like constantly adjusts my so let's see what's over here. Nothing. I'm constantly like managing my
Survivors. We've got to get that train moving.
my inventory. Okay. Darn, I can't go this way. These boxes are in the way. YouTube will delete comments that use specific words. What words? Outworlds at war? I don't see that person in here. I better let me change the chat. Maybe it's not showing me live chat. Oh, there he is. Oh, I know, it's a damn shame they turned into Twitter. For some reason, Outworlds at War's comments I couldn't see, but I just changed the thing and now I can. Oh my god. I probably didn't need to do all that fighting, but... It's locked. All right. I think they did a pretty good job of like sort of recapturing the 90s. I think this was like the 90s.
See a big transmission tower? That's the substation. You'll have to circle around
Carlos is, he is quite thirsty. These barricades are more effective than the Chaz barricades.
Gotta put this out.
Oh, look. I don't have the tools. Guess I'll go back. There's also a ladder up there. Are these guys gonna knock down the fence now? Yeah. That's what I thought. Oh no, what am I gonna do? I can shoot this barrel. Hooey! Hooey! I'm practicing my side steps because I'm gonna have to, like, conserve ammo. What's up, bitch? Actually, I'm gonna see what's over here. Oh, come on. I'm just gonna go up the stairs. Fuck it. Come back when I have more ammunition. New tonic from umbrellas, flying off the shelves. Nobody knows the code, not even my wife. It's a secret between me and my beautiful Aqua Cure queen. Okay. That brings me back here. Oh, where is this? It's like a different place. Uh-oh. Ah, the door's closed. I guess I have to go that way. Did he go back? What? One of those bullets probably should not have missed him, but okay. Redstone Pharmacy. It's probably where I can get the, Oh my god. Fucking asshole. Okay, now I got a green herb to mix with the red herb. See how my health is doing. Caution. I'll wait. I can probably take one more hit before I need to use my herb. More ammo. Doesn't appear to be anything else in here. How does a zombie know how to climb stairs? Bet you wish I had a brick. Now, yes. If I had Brick Chan with me, this wouldn't have happened. I'll go this way and see what's going on. Kite Bros. Anything over here? Nope. That doesn't look foreboding at all. I'm gonna go this way. See if I can. If anything, I'll just run into a dead end, right? Nothing in here. I'm gonna have a sip of my coffee. I was using the elitist top chat, yeah. Okay. Dude, come on now. All right. God damn it, you fucking asshole. You cost me the fucking... Wasted my ammo. You know what I like? Even though it's not a really horror game, but this reminds me of when I played a lot of Resident Evil 5. One of the things that was great about Resident Evil 5... What the fuck? Where is this in your inventory, Jill? The fuck? One of the things that I liked about Resident Evil 5 was... you could do this thing where basically you were encouraged to use, and Resident Evil 4 was doing this too, obviously. You were encouraged to use melee, special melee attacks to do the most damage. So you shoot at a zombie in the leg, and then when they would like stumble, you run up to them and attack, and you'll do a melee attack. I think it was like you press R2, but I could be wrong. And like Chris will like fucking blaze him in the chest, or... you know, Shiva would do like a roundhouse kick or something, and or Sheva, and that's how you did the most damage. You can actually save on ammunition by like just shooting a guy in his leg or shooting a guy in his arm. I think there was like certain locations, and when they would stagger, you'd run up and fucking like, I think when you did like They had Mercenaries mode. I think it was Mercenaries mode where you played as other characters, and there was this one black dude. I forget his name, but he would do like fucking German suplexes on the zombies. It was perfect. Violence is getting worse and worse for these beds. Got a shotgun for when it hits a breaking point. Locking it up in the gun rack should keep it safe from would-be looters while I go out and try to find some shells. If things go south, cut the chain and bust that sucker. Okay. So, another lock that I don't have a key for. When you need to use an item to unlock a door, solve a puzzle, select the item. Yeah, thanks. Gunpowder. Hand grenade. Okay. I can't carry anything else now. So I don't have the key item for this. But there's the shotgun. Let me just see. What can I do? I'm going to take this herb, the green herb, just the regular green herb. That will put me back at fine. And I think that's all I can do right now, so... it sucks that the aiming doesn't work faster the closer they are to you. What purpose does a division of top and live actually bring other than annoyance and confusion? No idea. Jill is a tomboy and only has a wallet. I like tomboy girls. With all the multiplayer stuff that they've done for Resident Evil, if they want to make a multiplayer games with the RE franchise, let's have an RE Mercenaries standalone game. Hell yeah. Mercenaries was fun. You know what? I do have, because obviously I have Resident Evil 3, so I do have Resident Evil Resistance.
This must be the subway company's offices.
Kite Bros Railway Manual. Once the power has been restored. Yep. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Nothing.
Oh shit, Dunkin' Donuts. Oh, these. I think you get, yeah, you shoot all those to another locked thing. Seems to be a pattern. Shoot all those to, I don't know why. There was something in a lot of these later games that had that. There's nothing here. I guess I'll just come back later. I got the fire hose, so I'm going to head over to, I guess, the hydrant. I thought I needed like some pliers or something to turn the hydrant on, but I guess that's not the question. Let's go over here and check out the donut shop. You bitch. You fucking bitch. God damn it. I hate that these zombies move like that. I'm gonna have to juke them. I had to juke. Alright. See what's back here. Another locked thing. Oh, really? Yeah, I know. I had a feeling that's what it was. I got the red jewel. This is a save point. Alright, so let's put the jewel in there, because obviously I'm not going to need that right now. I'm going to move this here. I think the rest I can just carry with me. It's always good to have, like, an herb on ya. Okay, so I still don't have that. I hope it's just, like, a key that will let you open everything. Oh, I see where I am. Just gonna run past these guys. Toy Uncle Super Shop. Right. Here's the place where I use the item. I'm guessing that the Nemesis is going to show up. Because I haven't seen him in a while, and he's kind of like the game, right? He's like the guy. Oof, that was some lazy-ass water effects. Reactivate power at the substation. Got it. Hey, is that a knockoff of Fix-It Felix? Got me some pliers, bitch. Bolt cutters, rather. Oh, right. That's for all the locks. Oh, shit, nigga. It's time to go back. It's time to go back. Go get a bunch of shit. Alright, so it's 10:24. I'm gonna quit in like 5 minutes. That's fine. Can I use these? No, that doesn't work. Alright, it's not for that. Yeah, sure, I'll bite. It's not like I don't know what's gonna happen, but... or suspect.
Yeah, careful. Come on, don't look at me like that, alright? I'm not infected. No, wait, please!
What the fuck?
It wasn't infected.
He might have been infected.
Oh, stars, the soft.
And what are you, UBCS? Killing your own people?
Would have turned. There's your sense of self-preservation.
Duh, why are there Russians under the... I don't get this. Forgive me, Jill, I must go now to find Moose and Squirrel. Oh, shotgun shells. Training log. Suck it, prison. I got a job. I got me a job. Stars is giving jobs to ex-convicts, giving them a new lease on life. I think that is a that's a good thing. That's a good thing. All right, I'm gonna stop it here because it's like getting a little late, and I gotta get to work. So, I'm not. It's you know, it's pretty fun. it's a shame that it's short. That's the one thing that I heard that's pretty much the consistent issue with this game. Also, that the Nemesis doesn't operate the same. Like, I think the Nemesis moments are scripted moments, whereas the Mr. X moments were more like once he was dropped in, he like had AI he'd follow you around and stuff. So I think Umbrella has ties to the Russian military, if I remember right. Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, and by the way, speaking of Resident Evil 5, I did get it, so maybe I'll stream some Resident Evil 5 too, because I want to play it with Lindsay. I think that if she and I did co-op together, it could be a lot of fun. What do you guys think about that? She's pretty good at video games too, so I mean, she's not incompetent. I don't mean to sound... It sounds worse than what I'm saying. I'm saying that she and I have a lot of fun together playing games. So, if you guys would be interested in that, maybe I'll talk to her about it. And after I'm done with Resident Evil 3, then either Lindsay and I will start playing some Resident Evil Resi 5. But that means that we'd have to do it when she's around. And that's usually in the afternoon, so it's not like early like this. So it may not be as frequent. So I'll probably do like a couple of things like side by side. Like I'll finish Resident Evil 3, and then I'll either move to Resident Evil 7, which I think I may do, and then after that I'll do like Shadow of the Colossus. But in the meantime, when Lindsay and I feel like doing it, we'll do streams of Resident Evil 5. Because I like Resident Evil 5. I think it gets a bad rap. It's a really fun game. I mean, yeah, the story's kind of, it's goofy, but it's a fun game. Who cares? This is like, what have we not learned after The Last of Us Part 2? That maybe the story is kind of like less important than people like Neil Druckmann tend to put emphasis on. It's not to say that you can't have a good story. Obviously you can, but I think that people kind of over-invest in the narrative of a video game, and then you end up losing the fact that you're playing a video game and that it should remain kind of engaging. And I think only a few games can do that well. So I just tend to care less about story in video games personally. I prefer them to be video games. Like, if it's a good story, then great, but there's a way to do it. Like Shadow of the Colossus tells a really great story without making you sit through a whole bunch of cinemas, like in cutscenes and shit, right? But it's a really good story, so there is a way to do it. It's just that people like Druckmann and the people behind Life is Strange and the people at fucking Rockstar that do like these Red Dead games and stuff, if you like look at the actual gameplay elements, they're kind of like just meh. So it's a shame that it's short. That's what she said. Sure, Sheva. Telltale Games leaves chat. I agree that with Resident Evil 5 being fun, though. I played it 150 hours. Yeah, it's really great until you get to the end and, like, the zombies are just soldiers. That's lame, but, like, it's still playable, but I hate that part. But, like, all the other stuff is pretty fucking cool. Alright, so I'm gonna get out of here. Thanks, guys, for coming and hanging out with me, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm just going to go to the title screen, make sure it's all saved and everything. And, yeah, we'll see you guys then.